I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Is a reproduction of a 1920s room. It's not that at all, and it will shake up that little expectation and unravel as we go. It's a tease, you know.
Beautiful. Just teasing us along the whole way.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think, you know, what you can expect is the unexpected.
Beautiful. I like that. I like that very much. That's a good clip, that.
Thank you. That's my advertising clip for the day.
You're listening to the Theatre Thoughts Podcast. Welcome back to all of our returning listeners, and if this is your first time streaming us, my name's Justin, or you can call me Stin. What is an immersive experience and how can it elevate a classic text? That's the question we're answering on today's podcast. We have performer and director Beth Daly joining us on the podcast to discuss the Great Gatsby immersive experience, which she has the pleasure of directing at the Wonderland Bar in King's Cross. Beth is going to share her wide array of knowledge of the Great Gatsby, as well as how she's transforming it into an immersive experience to elevate the text. Make sure you stick around to the end, where we have an important question to ask you, our loyal listeners. So as usual, sit back, relax, switch on those thoughts, and please enjoy the Theatre Thoughts Podcast. Welcome to the Theatre Thoughts Podcast. We have a very special guest joining us today. We have Beth Daly joining us, who is directing, I should say, the Great Gatsby immersive theatrical production. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
So
excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm really keen. So I've never actually been to an immersive experience, so I'm quite excited to talk about the whole experience. And Great Gatsby, I think, as well, is the perfect immersive experience to choose, especially for those who haven't been one before.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when Aaron, our producer, when he offered, you know, he said to me, "Do you want to direct this?" And I was like, "Yes." It's such a, I mean, it lends itself, you know, you just think about the parties, don't you? You want to be at that party. So really that for me was the first jumping on, because I think it's you know, I love entertainment, and I feel like, gosh, you know, after what we've been all through, I just want to be part of providing that joy in entertainment again, you know, to be able to go out.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because I remember when we almost ticked over to this decade, everyone was like, oh, it's going to be the new 20s. It's going to be amazing. So I think, like, having this experience will be what we're missing out on, which is nice.
Well, yeah. And, I mean, the 20s, you know, that's right. It was such a reference point in the last century that I feel like there's this weird expectation that this 20s is going to be, you know, incredible. Yeah. It's been incredible, but I don't think for the reasons that we thought it was going to be incredible.
Definitely unique, that's for sure. Beth, if you could, just for our listeners, kind of give it a bit of a background about yourself, because when I was doing my research, like, you've had such an illustrious career in theatre. You've been all over the place. So if you can just kind of give us a bit of a screenshot of who you are as a performer and what you've done.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is a many and varied. You know, I've been in the business for a long time, but my pathway has certainly not been that everyone will know what I've been doing. I've been that glorious thing of, I think, is called a working actor. I love to sing. I'm a singer, and, you know, I've worked in music theatre. But I went back after working professionally. I went back to study acting and the craft of acting even more, because that's I'm fascinated by acting and, you know, text and language and that really floats my boat.
Yeah.
So, I've been lucky and, I've worked with Sydney Theatre Company, the Ensemble Theatre. I've worked everything from street theatre, cabaret. I've directed. I love film. I've, just been really putting out feelers everywhere because I just love the craft. I'm a bit of a, acting junkie. I just love to, get around. So, it's brought me, as I said, to many different forms. I wouldn't call myself, just a straight actor or, it's nice to be explorative. That's how I feel about it. And, when this came up, I think that's why we just love the immersive experience, because it's like a chance to show our audience or to allow them to feel they're really on stage with us. And that's my goal with this, that I want this audience to feel amongst it, and it might take them a little while to warm into that. So it's not as scary as they think, but it's the 20s. It's got to be a bit dangerous. It's got to be a frisson of excitement there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into Great Gatsby, and we'll talk about. I'm just going to go through a quick history of Great Gatsby, and then we'll talk about what drew you to this experience in particular. Great Gatsby is written by very famous author F. Scott Fitzgerald way back in 1925.
He started writing it in 22.
Did he really? So it took a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It had all, many twists and turns. I think it was going to be about being Catholic for a long time.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad he didn't go down that path. This is much more open for us.
It'd be a very different story in particular. Now, like we said before, it's set in the 1920s in America, specifically the Jazz Age. I love jazz. I love jazz so much.
The music of it, right? The music,
You just feel it coming through the text. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful text, isn't it? I mean, when I reread the book, I was so shocked that it's so, it's kind of trippy in a way. It's got this real psychedelic edge to it. It's like the 1920s hits, the Beatles hits the 1920s vibe, but with beautiful language.
And then the story of it, it's obviously narrated by Nick Carraway about his interactions with the very elusively mysterious Jay Gatsby, and then his obsession to reunite with his former lover, Daisy Buchanan. Touches on a lot of different themes, from the social elite, the American dream, there's race in there, the idea of old money, new money, no money as well. So it actually, when I was researching a couple of facts about it, I didn't realize that it wasn't commercially well received when it first came out. And it wasn't until World War II, where they distributed books internationally to all the soldiers, that it actually picked up the fame that it now has.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what surprised me. I mean, I studied this at school, but I didn't get, I just thought it was a bit of a sad ending. I don't want anything, I wasn't looking for that deeper. And yet, I feel like it really has earned its place as a classic.
Yeah.
It's got, when we're delving into the story, even the story of it, with that wealth of background that you just described, it's still in the middle of all that. It's just the humanity of each of the characters within that age that is the thing that draws you through the story. There's an element of such dissatisfaction in all the money, or the money, no money, some working class, whatever it is. There's this dissatisfaction with the world and sort of a searching for more, for something that gives them meaning. And I find that incredibly interesting. Oh, it's incredibly pertinent to us today, isn't it? Really?
Definitely.
We're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my favourite texts, like of Mice and Men, Great Gatsby, and so on, they focus on the American dream. And we had our own version, obviously, the Australian dream of coming over and working. And I think that the whole idea of dreams, they haven't really died. They've just shifted, I think. Absolutely. So I think that's why this is so resonant today, because we do have still social class. We
still have, inequality of, money and wealth, and, and there's some lovely, in Maya Wolfsheim gives us the feeling of, what's the underbelly, of that society and the structures. Why are we in this? Why do some people have so much more power? And one of the cast members said, there's so much in here that still makes me angry.
Yeah, no way.
And I went, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like it just, it bubbles up for them as a group of, we've got a group of 10 actors who are just delving into this world. I will say the trick of our immersive piece is that the audience come and they meet Nick, but they're going to be actually playing Nick in the show.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. So at any time, a character might turn to them and talk to them as Nick.
That's
so they
brilliant.
get to really, well, it kind of just fell into our, we just went, oh, that's perfect.
Because it elevates the text and it kind of draws you in. It's like you're living the text.
Absolutely. And, the function of Nick, he talks about himself, he's a wallflower, a bystander within all of this world. So it's perfect for the audience to enter through that because we've got the forefront of our mind. Yes, we've got to tell this story, but how can we make this a really individual experience for that audience who comes that night? So, there may be opportunities within that someone might be whisked off and, given another little role to play. Someone might be chatted to by one of the characters that no one else that night gets to talk to them.
Wow. So you're kind of gifted like a unique experience for everyone that goes.
That's what.
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
That's what we're aiming for. So that, hopefully people just want to come back again and go, you know what? I'm going to follow the Daisy character this time in that scene.
Or see what happens.
I'm going to Or, they may be braver the second time they come around. Who knows? They may dance the second time. It's I should put the caveat in that we won't force anybody to do anything.
Yeah, I always feel like in a lot of interactive theatre that's the main thing that people go, oh, I don't want to be like centre stage. I don't want to be like whisked up there. So you are allowed to kind of sit back and do your own thing, but or get as much involved as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is a choose your own adventure in some ways, but we're not. A lot of other immersive experiences have been just wander freely and do whatever you want. We're really going to try and get the feeling that the story, but you're kind of seeing it maybe, from a slightly different viewpoint. Yeah. So it's still, even if you just wander with us and go with us and do not engage in any of the opportunities, my goal is for everyone to really feel that they know that story.
Continuing the Great Gatsby history, from the book there came a stage version not long after it was released, and this was directed by George Cukor, and it was actually hated by the Fitzgeralds. They called it rotten, apparently. Wow. They didn't like it.
Wow. No, I don't know about this one. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it ran for something like 100 and something performances on Broadway. Not too many before it closed.
Not many for Broadway, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't like it, apparently. But this stage version took to the film, the lost film, of Great Gatsby. Apparently it's the one that honours the text the most, apparently. But it's a famous lost film that only is known to exist through short clips that exist in the world. It was a silent film, black and white. And so this is like one of the lost films of Gatsby before the 1974 version with Robert Redford in it and Mia Farrow as Daisy.
I still remember that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very much. I know. I actually haven't seen it again, but it did stay in my head. And of course the latest one.
And then Baz Luhrmann's
2013.
One. What did you think of that film?
I see what there's the zap of it, it's so bad. Baz Luhrmann.
Very
It's,
Baz Luhrmann.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a fun ride. It's got that sparkle. You know, he wanted to get that sparkle, didn't he? And he certainly did.
Definitely.
It's brilliant, you know, in terms of that. And it's just interesting for me. And I think, I have great respect, even more respect now for what they did in the film, because I think, you know, broaching this story, the book is, it's such a great novel, but to make that into a theatrical experience is actually quite difficult.
So on that, can you tell us the story of how this fell into your lap?
Yeah, look, it's Aaron Roebuck, who works at Viral Ventures. They've been running these theatrical immersive experiences in terms of hospitality and and theatre within the bars. You know, they're themed bars basically. You know, that's been working beautifully in this Wonderland Bar. You know, over these 3 stories of this old 1940s building. You know, great old architecture. You know, they'd have an Alice in Wonderland, or they'd have a Harry Potter theme. So, you know, people love it. They just come and, you know, they concoct cocktails.
Yeah.
That's a good word, isn't it? And you know, and sit with actors and, you know, have that experience. So there is this bed of that they're good at that. You know, they're really good at this whole thing. But when they started, the government, they've got one of these government grants that really we can, you know, employ actors and go further, take this to a new level, do the whole building, you know, take this group through. They got excited about that idea of Gatsby because it's a 100-year anniversary. So that's sort of where it came from. And then they approached me, and I just loved the idea. I think it, you know, as we talked about, it's just so perfect for now and for what we're, you know, for where we're going.
We've kind of touched on it already about immersive experiences enhancing texts, but how do you feel this experience in particular kind of picks out some of those deeper meanings rather than just, because I know, like, when I talk about Great Gatsby with other people, they kind of just go, oh yeah, 1920s jazz parties, big parties, beautiful, mysterious,
Exactly.
Great Gatsby. So how does this experience kind of pull the depths of the text out?
Well, our secret weapon is we have, you know, 10 brilliant actors who are going to allow that to happen. And the weight within the text, we have lifted a lot from the book. We've really used that as our source. And I feel that, you know, it is going to be a shock to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to front up just going, oh, we're going to have a party. It's going to be sexy. And this will be fun. It'll be a bit naughty. And that will, you know, and I think, yes, that will be there.
It's kind of the thing you used to expect when you went to King's Cross, isn't it? And then you go, oh, yeah, Great Gatsby, perfect.
Absolutely. And we will satisfy that. You know, there will be. My hope is that you could come in you could be a giant theatre goer and, you know, love art, and you could come in and be satisfied because the party is an integral part of the experience. You know, you've got to feel the vibe, haven't you? That's really, at some point within the show, we've got to get immersed in that vibe. You know, and they'll be walking up and down stairs. They'll be, you know, poking into rooms. They'll be, you know, going through here and here, and you know, so each room will have a different, you know, completely different feel. It's not just a stage and we set it. Each room has a function or a way of experiencing that.
That's so clever. I find that so, I'm actually quite, the more you talk about it, the more I get excited. I'm like, oh, this could be like a great experience, especially like I said, for me, he's never done an immersive experience before, apart from like an escape room, which isn't the same thing. Having...
Well, it's got an element of that though, hasn't it?
Yeah, you've got to like
that too.
Wander around and find things and experience things. I think, for people who haven't done something like that, this could be a great opportunity to kind of engage in this style of theatre, but also have a fun time.
Well, I think they're just, you know, they don't need to know anything before they come. But on the other hand, you could know everything about this piece. You could be a classic, you know, literature, you know, buff and still feel satisfied, you know, because we're honouring the text. This is not just a themed party. It's actually we're delving, as any, you know, good actors and would do. We're really pulling apart everything about this text so that we can probably had to, like the movie, you know, as I feel for the writers of the movie, that they had to toss out a hell of a lot of wonderful stuff to sort of hone it into an entertainment that lasts within a time frame. And within the rooms, there'll be, hints of what's going on. They'll be able to go, I know who that photo is of. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, the green light. I know the green light.
Yes, the green light, yes.
Everything will be in there somewhere, but you almost, I'm not going to sit here and we haven't got time. The place at the moment is being just gutted.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Brendan DeLahaye is, oh my goodness, creating, as we go, each room has its own sort of flavour. So we're just moving into these rooms, and they are so different. They are so, it's not just, right, we're doing it, everything 1920s, of course we're vibing the style, it's all there. But his genius, I think, is the crossover. And that's what we also hope to experience while we're doing, yes, it's the Great Gatsby, but it's almost like unconsciously we're adding the modern elements through there.
Yeah. Okay.
And that will be how much of that it's going to be a lovely blend. So it's almost like it'll have a feeling of the 1920s, but there are modern, sort of almost fantasy moments
right
in it. So it's a little abstract too. It's not just going to be, you walk in and here's a reproduction of a 1920s room. It's not that at all, and it will shake up that little expectation and unravel as we go. It's a tease,
Beautiful. Just teasing us along the whole way.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think what you can expect is the unexpected.
Beautiful. I like that very much. That's a good clip. That.
Thank you. That's my advertising clip for the day.
On immersive experiences, the way you talk about it, it sounds like you'd be keen to do one again. If you were to choose your own out of any text in the entire world, what do you see as working as an immersive experience?
I think my great, like, the thing that I love to go and watch, is have you been to one of the Shakespeare in the pubs?
Oh, yes. Yes. Love them.
That to me, I love them. I love them as a person who is into theatre. I just love taking my non-theatre friends in a way, or to one of those, and watching them fall in love with Shakespeare.
Yes,
I feel like that's what we're going to try and do here with Gatsby.
Yeah,
but that's a really good question. Gosh, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, have a think about that one.
Yeah, I will have a think about that one. Because having done this now, I do think that it's, if you think about in New York, the Sleep No More is so popular, and, we've just had Because the Night down in Melbourne. It's obvious that this is a trend.
Yeah,
where we're going.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll be on the cusp of this and
just let us know.
Every great novel.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm not going to do Gone with the Wind or anything.
No. Keep that one to the side.
No. I'd love to find an Australian work. That's what I'd love to find.
There'd be so many you could choose from. No, I'm going to have to think about that as well.
All right. Well,
it's going to leave me with some homework.
When you think of one, tell me. I'll come on board.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Beth.
Absolutely.
And I will, as soon as I know what text to do as an immersive experience, I will hit you up.
Hit me up, indeed. I am ecstatic to be doing this one, and I just can't wait to share it with an audience, to take them on that ghost train ride.
The Great Gatsby immersive play experience will play at the Wonderland Bar, formerly the World Bar, at Potts Point from the 18th of February until the 26th of June 2022. Tickets can be found at explorehidden.com. A special thanks to Beth Daly and IP Publicity for organising today's episode. Well, that's all the time we have left here on the Theatre Thoughts podcast. Now we have a question to ask of you, our listeners. We have a survey on our website that we would love for you to take part in. This short survey will act as feedback for us on what we're doing well, what you're loving listening to, as well as what we could do better in future podcasts and what sorts of topics you would like us to discuss. To take part in this quick survey, head to our website, theatrethoughtsoz.online/podcasts. That's theatrethoughtsaus.online/podcasts. Thank you so much again for streaming this episode, and we'll see you next time here on the Theatre Thoughts podcast.
ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.